Code. We are live. Hi, everyone out there in YouTube land.
What it did.
My name is Bob.
Wait, I have something to show everybody. I mean, like, this is a really big deal.
Is it your butt?
No, it's actually better.
What could be better than your butt?
You're basically getting ready to find out.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Where's
Do
this? Where's this information going?
Oh, I gotta click off myself. Cameron added YouTube. What?
How
Dude,
can you add the whole YouTube to the Hangout?
You added. Hi, Scuttlefield in the chat room. Hi,
Oh shoot, I didn't log into the chat.
chattel room in the Scutfield.
The chattel room.
In the Scutfield, I said. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Chattel.
Fielder room in the Scut chat.
dude,
Dude,
What?
Bro.
you're getting a Dell. Bet you haven't heard that in a while either, since you were in third grade.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. Why is this not working?
Sorry.
This podcast is going out on April the 1524th of 2015, according to the current headline of the post.
That's correct.
It's just a really long month. Why did they make it like
The
that?
23rd month of the fourth year of the second
The
decade of the
Julian
realm.
calendar is full of mysteries.
All I know is that winter is coming.
Or excuse me, is the Augustan calendar, isn't it?
Augustine.
Okay.
Tuesday's coming. Did you bring your coat?
I have a purple sweater.
I live in a giant bucket.
Okay, let me,
I am the
socialize.
queen of France.
I think that's my favorite one.
My spoon is too big.
Silly hats only is fun.
Yeah, silly hats only. Oh, look, honey. Poopy's taking her first steps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we are social, so we are good to. Well, as soon as I take some of these topics that I don't know.
Take the topics, man. Take the topic,
I
but
don't know
don't
anything
smoke
about collections. Liam, you have to take that.
Oh, okay.
it. What do we got?
I didn't
first?
realize it was on
LG
there.
Works with
watch,
cardboard program. No.
ZTE, smart projector.
FDIC insured. No.
I'm fine with that as well.
Nexus 7 units are flying at an alarming rate. Yes. Send directions. You can read about that on the internet.
Chattel Scut.
Z4. I'm going to take
like
the Z4, and I'm not going to talk at all about any of the facts in that post. Galaxy Tab A. I will take that as well because it is also an embarrassment.
Did we ever figure out what those little nubs are on the back?
I told you they're nipples.
Spro
That's how they
2.
feed- That's how they feed baby tablets.
Spro.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just as valid as the real reason.
You can connect like your Galaxy S5 to it, and it turns into a tablet.
I think it's just for a case.
but the real question is, what the hell are you talking about?
Just to make you buy a case because it's ugly. So. The Galaxy Tab A and also the Galaxy Tab S 8.4 and 10.5 have those circles on the back.
Oh, yeah. Those are for cases.
They like grab on there then.
They're like buttons. They work like, I mean, like a snap style button. That's how they work.
Oh.
The cases have these little snaps built in, and they just click into the back, and you press them in, and they lock in place.
Yeah.
It's both kind of cool and really stupid at the same time.
I don't understand the utility of that.
There isn't
Yes, it
one.
seems
It's
unnecessary.
just Samsung things.
Should I just start recording this?
Samsung things. Can we start a Tumblr that is just Samsung things?
Oh my
please?
god! I think
Can we
we
do
should.
that right now? And it's just a picture of nonsensical things, and then in big flowy text on top of the image is we'll paste just Samsung things.
Hey, there's no more pink topics. We're only 5 minutes behind.
All right. Go.
Wait. I gotta press this. I gotta press the record button. Okay.
And we have to
Press
make
that
sure
button.
nothing crashes.
Okay, wait. Hey guys,
Do we
wait.
have the order? Do we have
What's
the
up,
order?
William?
Yeah, the spreadsheet does not reflect the order, and I'm nervous about that.
Oh my goodness, you're
David,
right.
Cameron, Leon,
You
Ryan,
gotta add David
Bob.
back in there. David.
Bob.
There.
Yay.
Good.
Do you know the date, Matt? You know the date?
What is the date? Oh my god, it's the 2415th.
The 2415th what?
April 2415th of 2015.
Yeah,
Cool.
Sounds right. Let's do that.
I will press the buttons that make the show start now.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Friday, April 24th, 2015. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I was loudly zipping something up during the intro music.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Liam Spradlin.
I'm Ryan Whitwam. Not zipping anything up right now.
If your zip utility on your computer makes that much noise, you probably need a new computer.
And I'm Bob
I
Severance.
think it's a bad iOmega drive.
I'm Bob Severance. No one cares. No, I was quietly zipping something down during the intro. Welcome to the show.
Bob, you're recording this to a zip disk, right?
Well, yeah.
Zip 200.
It's not a zip. It's floppy.
Okay. a big five and a half inch floppy.
Boy, we are getting things started.
Well, you're being a little generous,
I
but
was gonna say
Okay.
it's probably a 3 1/4.
it's a 3.5. It's
I
3
mean,
and a half.
let's be real here.
Get your halves and quarters right.
Boy, we are
3.5,
already
5 and a
so
quarter.
off track here. And it's maybe this 4-person podcast is not a good idea.
I think
Go
it's
Google!
It's fine.
Go Google! Code, Google, code. I can't do it without laughing. I'm looking at David's face. And David's face makes me laugh because he smiles sometimes.
David got that
I'm a
funny
little disappointed
face.
because
Didn't know to happen.
I fully expected to be able to like turn around and just produce a 3.5 and a 5 1/4 inch disc, and your house just.
Well, open a drawer. You'll find one.
I'm sure I will. Anyways, so Code Google, we'll get started off with Project Phi. Project Phi is officially live. We heard news earlier this week that it was going to be announced on Wednesday, and then on Wednesday, it was announced. So Ryan, what do we know about it?
Well, we know all of the basics. It's pretty much what we had been hearing before. It's an MVNO run by Google. It goes, it lets you connect to both T-Mobile and Sprint. It'll only work on the Nexus 6 at first, and it's going to just sort of switch between those networks depending on who has better LTE coverage wherever you happen to be. And if you're someplace where they have a verified Wi-Fi network that they know is open and reliable, then your phone will just automatically connect to that to reduce the amount of data that you use. So you pay $20 a month, and you get unlimited talk and text, and then each gigabyte of data is $10. And strangely, it sounds like you pre-purchase data at the beginning of the month, and then whatever you don't use is refunded to you in the next billing cycle. But there are also no overages, so I guess I can't see how there'd be a functional difference between just paying as you go for however much data you use and like saying ahead of time I would like 3 gigs of data, and using not all of it and getting a refund. So that is not entirely clear to me. But you can sign up for an invite, and they will send you one, or I guess maybe tell you no in 30 days. They say, but obviously you need to have a Nexus 6 anyway, and yeah, you can sign up now, and maybe one day soon you'll be able to try it.
Now, is the only option, if you don't already have a Nexus 6, is the only option to just go like buy one from the Play Store, or they have some?
They'll also finance one for you. It's like 20 something or $30 a month, and you just pay until it's
I'm gonna guess it's through Motorola's credit program. I'm
Probably,
sure people
yeah.
will find that out when they sign up.
Yeah, the app will. I mean, they don't technically run that anyway, so the app might just link you to the same people that do that.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to sign up for this. If only it wouldn't make reviewing phones impossible. That's the one thing for me, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I switch phones frequently, and I mean, I use the Nexus 6 a lot, but I need to use other non-Nexus things just as often, and there's no reason for me to maintain two accounts.
Exactly. Even if using my AT&T plans, data rate would still be like it wouldn't save me any money.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm on a shared plan. I'm on a family plan on AT&T with other people in my family, and this actually is more expensive for me. But I also hate the Nexus 6, so I don't really care about it.
So you don't have a family?
No, I don't. But if I did, I would actually ask Kevin Durant if he would be in my family.
Yeah. The thing about Project Fi is it's not just that Google is keeping it to the Nexus 6 because they're jerks. There just aren't a lot of phones that can move between Sprint and T-Mobile.
I think that is actually literally the only one that supports all the Sprint bands and all the T-Mobile bands.
Yeah, I mean, the Nexus 5 ran on Sprint, but it doesn't have tri-band, which I guess is a big deal for Sprint these days.
Well, that 2500 megahertz is going to be their key fat pipe spectrum thing. Fat pipes.
So yeah, I mean, for this to be a thing that is really consequential to anybody, there would need to be more unlocked phones that have all of the necessary bands, and there just aren't right now.
I just hate that it has to be like the two crummiest carriers of all.
But together they make a crummy carrier Voltron that's like a not crummy carrier. It's a little crummier than AT&T and Verizon, but not as bad as on their own.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as either Sprint or T-Mobile, right?
They're crummy in terms of coverage if you're outside of a city. Although I mean, Sprint is a little bit better. I find immediately outside of downtown areas, and T-Mobile is usually a lot better in cities because they just have more back-end bandwidth. But I mean, putting these two together, I think, would be a pretty reasonable experience. I mean, you're not going to get LTE in the middle of nowhere like if you have Verizon, but I mean, then you have to be on Verizon, and there are plenty of other annoying things that come with that.
Can you guys just let me be a hater without trying to justify why it's not that bad?
Wait.
I mean, it's still going to be pretty bad. If you look at the coverage map for LTE of AT&T versus Fi, it's like, oh, well, that's kind of shitty. Nobody's going to look at that and be like, oh, it's obviously comparable in every way.
Can you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't go places that don't have LTE. I plan my entire life around T-Mobile's network.
You guys have to help me decide. Already, the episode titles are between back-end bandwidth and crummy carrier Voltron.
I like crummy carrier Voltron.
Right now, yeah. I think I would like it if a listener could please, maybe somebody with artistic skill could illustrate a crummy carrier Voltron for us.
That would be awesome. I will make it the album art. You have to submit it to me before I post the show tonight. And your crummy carrier Voltron.
Yeah, no pressure. Just do a magnificent
Metro
work
PCS
right now.
can be like a skin tag hanging off the side.
And the head has to be John Laguerre.
Oh man, it totally.
I know that's not how you pronounce it.
Could it be like a hybrid of John Laguerre and Dan Hesse?
John Legend.
No, Dan Hesse's gone.
Dan Hesse's doing something else now.
That's right. I forgot.
I believe he's actually doing Droopy the Dog reenactments.
So did somebody do we even know who took his place? How long ago did that happen?
Yeah, I forget the guy's name. We posted about it when it happened.
Something Marcella, I think.
He must be really
Chicken
boring.
Marcella.
He does not seem in touch with the things. I don't think he's gonna last long.
This show is never
Chicken Marcella. I mean
Marcello. It's something Marcello. I want to say Robert Marcello, but I don't think that's right.
Sprint is run by a chicken dish that
You know what? It might improve things. Find
You're
chickens.
saying that if they allow cooked dead animals to run the company, it would be better.
If they had truly unlimited chicken marsala, I would definitely switch.
I think I would probably
I
switch
believe
for like.
that would call for like a Olive Garden Sprint mashup.
I would. You know what? I could get behind that. I mean,
Unlimited soup, salad, and chicken marsala plus
All
LTE.
the LTE soup and chicken marsala.
All you can eat dead cells.
yeah. I like this. I like where this is going. I hope that all the right people listen to this podcast so this can.
Okay, his name is
similar-
Marcelo Clar. So I was close-ish.
Kind of. I mean, that's not well. I mean, it's good though because that's not as easy to make fun of, and
Yeah.
and this we got this whole chicken bit.
I mean, Marcelo is probably his middle name, and I still think that chicken is probably his first name.
I think Clower is French for chicken.
So his name is actually Chicken Marcelo Chicken.
I toast Marcello's on a campfire.
That was so ridiculous. Oh my god, I loved it. Oh man.
Well, at some point we should probably move on to the next topic. Otherwise,
Is there a show after this?
I'm afraid we might literally talk about this for the rest of the hour.
It's only been 11 minutes, Matt. Let it
Only
go.
11. All right, so moving on to this new FCC filing from Google regarding something that is smart and Bluetoothy. What do we know? Anything interesting coming out of this Bluetooth FCC filing, David?
It might be the next version of Google Glass. That's like the best thing we can divine from this filing, and the reason we can divine that. So the filing says it's for a smart Bluetooth low-energy device. But it also, in the labeling section, when you file with the FCC, you have to show them where the FCC label is going to be. It shows a card-like FCC ID, an electronic one, inside the operating system, because you can do that now. And then references swiping left or right to left. I forget. No, left to right, and then swiping down, I think, to get this FCC ID on the device, and the device, don't make sure it's on sleep mode, and it references there being a battery, and then obviously there's some visible aspect of it because we have this screenshot that looks vaguely rectangular and glass-like. So this could be an FCC filing for the new version of Glass, or it could be something else that we don't know about, but it could be Glass too.
Could be just a block of glass block.
Yay!
I was reading just a minute ago on Wall Street Journal that apparently the CEO of Luxottica said that the next version of Glass is coming soon.
Yeah, I saw that as well. The timing is definitely interesting, but at the same time, I think a lot of people looked at this and, decided that the timing with that article makes it more like it'll be Glass. I still think there's lots of room for it to not be Glass, too.
That's true.
All right, so let's move on to Android Wear, because we've got an update coming to the firmware soon that is bringing a whole slew of new functions. So Cam, what's new that we can expect from Wear?
Lots of stuff actually. So it looks like instead of just ambient mode working on the watch face, now with the update, the 5.1 update, it'll also work with apps, which is pretty neat. I can think of a few instances where that'll be useful. I can also think of several instances where it will be annoying. But because I like the cover it, go back to the watch face thing, but at the same time, like if I'm using navigation or something, I want the screen to stay ambient. So that's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to that one. Wi-Fi support, I think, is a big one, like a really, really big one. So basically, if the watch disconnects from your phone, but you're in range of a known Wi-Fi network that you would always connect to, instead of just being basically useless, the watch will connect to the Wi-Fi network and be able to do the majority of the things that it can do while connected to the phone. So I think that's a pretty big deal that makes it much more useful as a standalone device, even though there's still not a huge reason to have one to use as standalone. It's better that way. So I think that's cool because sometimes like I leave my phone in the in the office and I'll walk to the garage and it'll disconnect every single time.
Yeah, Bluetooth
So it'll be
range
cool.
isn't exactly super
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, exactly.
happens to me
So it'll be nice for it to just jump over and connect to my Wi-Fi at least until I get back to my phone. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be really useful.
There are times when Oh, go ahead.
Right, I mean, unfortunately, it sounds like a lot of the Android Wear watches won't actually have this, though, because even though there are Wi-Fi chips, they don't have the antennas built in to actually support Wi-Fi. So I think it's the Smartwatch 3, the Moto 360, and the Watch Urbane have the chip and the antenna, and I think the Zen Watch, the G Watch, and the G Watch R do not. And Samsung has not said if the Gear Live has it.
I wouldn't count on the Gear Live because it's one of the cheapest anyway. Yeah. But this is just another reason why I bought a Smartwatch 3 because it basically has everything. It's the most future-proof of all the Android Wear watches. So
there are times when my 18-month-old daughter will be sitting on my lap. My phone will be in my pocket, and my watch will be in between my pocket, or my daughter will be in between my watch and my pocket, and it'll disconnect.
Your daughter
is your daughter made of some sort of metal alloy? Is she a robot?
She is not a robot.
I mean, I don't believe you, but okay.
I mean, I kind of don't either. That's interesting. Sometimes Android Wear just likes to disconnect for no damn reason too. There's that.
Android Wear is so goddamn buggy. Like, I mean, the fact that it gets away with it is just a function of how badly the watches have sold. That really is all it is right now. Because if normal people had this, they'd be. I mean, because it is in some ways like you can't rely on it. It's that bad.
My Moto 360, like literally every time that the battery runs out, if I like don't keep it charged and connected, I'll charge it back up, and then it's like, where am I? What am I? Like, what's going on? It can't. Like,
what is the meaning of this universe?
It just
the Moto 360.
Your Moto 360 starts having an existential crisis every time its battery dies.
That device. That's like the most inconsistent of all of the watches, and people. It's weird. You can't go anywhere on the internet and say anything bad about that watch because people will appear and suddenly accost you and tell you how great their experience is. But I mean, I don't think they're lying. I just think that they've been lucky to have very good experiences lately. A lot of people, use the Moto 360 and their battery is dead in 10 hours.
Yeah, I like my smartwatch. I like it better than the G-Watch.
I get good battery life too, but if it didn't, I probably wouldn't use it because I can eat 2 days out of it usually.
Yeah, I could probably get 2 days out of my
R?
smartwatch, but I charge it every night anyway. But
yeah, the Smartwatch 3 is really good for battery life.
I would like it. It would be almost perfect for me if it were round, just because I like the look of the round one. But I like all the functionality and the outdoor viewing and whatnot.
Well, the Urbane is coming out soon, and I think I'm going to review that. So I'm looking forward to see if it's better in ways. I guess
it'll be prettier.
Yeah,
it will be
Wi-Fi, which I guess. Okay.
Because you'll be able to draw emojis on the screen.
That's true.
God.
That's coming.
I'll draw a thumbs up. I'm going to draw a thumbs up. That's the first thing I'm going to do when I get it.
Yeah.
And then
I will say that I will
some kind of like sad,
I'm actually excited
distorted emoji.
I mean, I'm sure I'll probably. Here's the thing. If they don't add custom canned responses, I'm going to just use emoji because then at least I can do that without having to talk to my watch because sometimes I can't do that and it annoys me that there aren't custom responses yet.
Yeah, there should be. There are a few. I mean, yes, and but
there should be custom responses because as Joni Ive would say, the watch is a deeply personal sort of device.
Man, I thought Johnny was on the podcast there for a second. That was uncanny.
He is. He's just under the table.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, actually, that's not all. There's the gesture thing. The flick of the wrist instead of right now you can flick your wrist kind of to turn the display on. Well, with the 5.1 update, you can flick again and cycle through the cards. So lots of good stuff coming in the 5.1 update.
I find that the wrist flicking gesture in general, though, never works. Like, I can never get it to work right.
You know what? I never got it to work on my G Watch, but it works almost every time on the smartwatch. It works
you know what I think it is, though, is when they did the 5.0 update, that changed the tilt-away behavior dramatically. It got a lot more sensitive for me after that.
Yeah. But it's
maybe in 5.1 it'll get better, but on the G Watch R, it's really, really annoying. Like, my watch has to be like at my face before it decides to wake up.
I think there might be something wrong with yours because my G Watch R doesn't do that.
Okay, maybe there's something wrong with mine. I mean, it's not like usually annoying, but I always have to tap it to wake it up.
So
weird.
Also, Sony announced a couple of updates that are probably going to be available for all Android Wear devices, but Google did not mention these things. Only Sony did in its changelog. So it looks like heads-up notifications are also coming to Android Wear. So with the 5.1 update, so I guess if you're looking at something else and a notification comes in, which it's kind of annoying that you have to like swipe all the way back to the beginning to see what the notification is if you're already looking at something. So I guess it's going to give like a little heads up, probably at the bottom of the screen.
They better be careful with this though, because heads up notifications on Android phones and tablets did not go over very well.
Hopefully they learn their lesson and it'll work a lot better. There's also supposed to be adjustable font sizes, so I'm not really sure how I feel about that. That just seems to me like a completely superfluous feature that nobody really actually needs because the fonts seem to be really just about right to me.
Did we talk about always on apps? They're doing that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did mention that. That's actually one of the things that I'm most excited about because I like when I first got it, one of the things I was like, man, I'm going to totally use this, pull up Evernote on here and look at recipes while I'm cooking, except that every time the screen time's out, I have to reload Evernote on my watch, and it's a total pain in the rear. So
I'm curious if this will be automatic or if apps will have to sort of support an ambient mode state explicitly in their app.
I hope it's automatic. I hope.
But we'll find out soon, maybe, hopefully.
Awkward silence.
Number 9.
So, in the midst of all the good, exciting news about Android Wear, there's something that might be a little bit disheartening coming up for those of you who have been hoping for Android Wear on your Apple devices. Although people who listen to the show probably aren't waiting for that, but hey, just in case you are. So what are we finding out from the App Store these days, Ryan?
Well, so we talked recently about how Google is going to supposedly put an app on iOS that will connect to Android Wear, but there was some concern about whether or not Apple would approve that because they have rules that say you're not supposed to talk about competing platforms in the description or metadata of an app. And just the other day, an iOS developer who makes a Pebble app their app update I think was rejected, and they were told you can't talk about Pebble in your app description, and that's here's the part of the developer rules where we tell you you're not supposed to do that, and they actually told them that say your app contains metadata that irrelevant platform information is what they called it. Irrelevant platform information, even though the app is supposed to be, for the Pebble Watch. So it's not clear if this was just like a one-off kind of, the reviewer was just being a jerk, or if this is going to be the way Apple rolls going forward now that they have their Apple Watch actually out.
So if that is the
case, then
is the Pebble Watch app itself still on the Play Store or on the App Store?
I'm sure it is. We would have.
I don't think any apps have been removed for support.
There would have been a big kerfluffle if if they started like removing Pebble apps. That would be kind of that's unlikely to happen. I don't know. I could see them hassling smaller developers if that's what they're going to do. But I don't know if they would be able to get away with just straight up telling Google that they can't mention Android Wear in the Android Wear app.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. I mean, it's one of those things. I bet Apple hasn't even made a decision yet on what they want to do. So we shall see.
We shall. But in the meantime, if you happen to already have an Android device, as I'm guessing, everybody listening to the show does, and you have Android Wear, you've got a new update to look forward to, or even download.
Yes, right.
Right?
That's right.
Okay, no, you cut out for a second. I was confused.
Cut out for all the seconds, basically.
All the seconds?
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
So, okay. 1, 2, 3, take 2. Okay, so, yeah, there's going to be a new Android Wear update rolling out. It might already be available in the Play Store for you. It's version 1.1, and it includes support for a lot of the things that are coming in the new the 5.1 update for the watches. So it has the cloud sync over Wi-Fi, so if your watch is connected to Wi-Fi, you'll still get all of the notifications and app stuff that goes between the watch and the phone as if it was connected over Bluetooth, so that's cool. It also changed the UI of the app quite a bit, and you can get calendar data from any account on your phone. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have the update already, you might as well just grab it from APK Mirror. It's it's a nice little update.
All right. Speaking of updates, we are seeing some news about Android 5.1.1, the OS update rolling out to devices, including the Nexus Player Factory, or the Nexus. Sorry, the Nexus Player. So, David, is this just a couple of bug fixes, I imagine?
Pretty much. So, if you have a Nexus Player, you can download the factory image, or maybe get the update if it's going out to you. But we do not have reports of 5.1.1 on anything else yet, but I would imagine the Nexus 9 will be in that list here soon, hopefully, maybe.
Don't count on it.
Nexus 9 is still sitting on 5.0.2 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is on the 5.0.
5.0.
It's the last Nexus device still on 5.0.
Nexus 5.0.
All right, so excuse me. Oh, goodness. All right, so Google has apparently started testing out a new collections feature for Google+. This is not something that's available to end users just yet. So, Liam, what do we know about it?
So basically, in testing is a new feature called collections, where you would be able to create a collection and then curate content to go in that. So, kind of, I think of it kind of like a Pinterest board or a bucket on Dribble. You can collect posts into a central location, and then users can follow that collection and share it, interact with the posts as they want. That's all we know so far. Apparently, right after we published the post, we found out that it apparently is planned for introduction in early May, but of course, since it's unreleased, we can't really know that for sure yet.
Well, we can know that it's planned.
Yes.
That can be known. So, yeah. All right, so moving on, stock Android isn't perfect. Of course, this is one of the ongoing series we have over on the site, and Liam has put together some nitpickiness. Liam,
yes.
you are so nitpicky. But in this particular edition, it's Lollipop. This is the first full edition we've had since KitKat, so it's been a long time coming. Liam, what do we got?
A lot. I mean, if you've seen previous entries in the series, you know that it's us going through and picking on a lot of details in the OS. If that's your thing, you should just check out the post because there's way too much to talk about here. But yeah.
The good news is lots of things from the previous KitKat post are fixed. So
that's true.
There's good news in there too. There's good news.
Fixed, partially fixed, not fixed, unfixed.
Defixed.
That's
right.
That's the worst. They had it and they messed it up.
I think my favorite was the status bar in the gallery because they replaced absolutely every component in that in that little issue, but yet it's still a problem.
Both apps are new, but they still have the same behavior.
All right, so moving on. Sorry, more bad news. This time it's regarding the 2013 Nexus 7s, which are apparently problematic, right, David?
Yeah, so we're having an issue with 2013 Nexus 7s where they sort of die. So it's not clear exactly why this is happening, but it has maybe something to do with the flash storage. So the symptoms for this kind of thing, you basically get stuck at the Google boot screen, and if you try to unlock the device, you'll get a failure at erasing user data step. You can't flash a factory image, maybe, or there you have issues starting up in recovery. Basically, you
Hello,
can't get
AP. Last week.
the tablet to work. So there are all kinds of potential reasons this might be happening. It might be bad NAND. It might be some kind of thing to do with firmware update, but we don't think that's what's happening because there's no good reason to believe that's what's happening other than the timing. There's no direct reason. So it's probably some kind of common hardware failure. So we don't know what the failure point is, though, and a lot of Nexus 7s are basically bricking because of this. Google hasn't commented yet, and I kind of doubt they ever will unless it reaches like a class action lawsuit state. So we'll see what happens. But it's bad if you got a 2013 Nexus 7 and you have this issue. I will say that I have a refurbished one, and it has not had this problem.
Maybe that was the problem it was refurbished for.
I've had my Nexus 7 since launch, and it still works. I just turned it on a little bit ago to check.
Yep, I did the same thing when we posted that. I was like, wait, is the mine dead? And no, it's not.
Yeah, mine mostly sits in the drawer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my Nexus 10 is still chugging along, so I guess maybe I should be glad I picked the device that doesn't have Asus flash storage on it. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to Google in the classroom. Lots of new features added this week in that platform as well, right, Liam?
Yep. So Google has updated the classroom platform with something that I guess I assumed it just already had, which is collaboration, meaning that teachers can now collaborate on a single class, so they can provide feedback, make assignments, grade stuff at the same time on the same class. And any teachers who are invited to collaborate can do everything that the main teacher can do except delete the class. So that sounds pretty good. They also have allowed teachers to basically batch assignment grades. So if you're grading assignments and you need to stop for a while, you don't have to worry about like half the class getting their grade before the other half. And you can draft assignments now too.
Do they have Amazon Mechanical Turk grading?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Sounds like a great
Although
way to do it.
you could probably hook that up if you wanted to.
Sweet.
Yes. So, in other words, with the batch grading, you can stop, collaborate, and listen.
That's right.
Moving on to the hot sheet.
You totally...
All right, I'm going to apologize in advance because all of the device announcements this week were just not very good. Starting off with the Sony Xperia Z4. Actually, you know what? I don't apologize. It's not our fault.
Let me do it again. Lukewarm sheet.
I think starting off, I think Sony should feel bad, and they should feel bad specifically about the Xperia Z4.
Yeah, they really should, because it's basically an Xperia Z3 with a new chipset in it. It doesn't look almost any different at all.
And probably a chipset that will be worse for it.
Yeah, the only thing they now have a capless micro USB port, so it's waterproof with the micro USB port, which is good because that's been the problem with pretty much every waterproof phone, because port covers are Satan carnate, and they should not be a thing. But other than that, the Z4 looks exactly like the Z3 in almost every appreciable way. So, and they announced this in Japan, and they didn't even, as far as I know, issue a English press release for the phone. Sony US doesn't even seem to be acknowledging that the phone exists. So it's possible that this is just something for Japan, and they made the phone, and then they realized, oh, this is going to do terribly in the international markets. And they're going to release a nicer phone later this year that is more revolutionary as opposed to extremely evolutionary. But there's nothing to be excited about. It's last year's phone, but slightly newer. I mean, it makes the M9 look more than iterative. It's so. I don't. Sony selling off their smartphone business would not be terribly surprising to me next year.
Who would buy it?
Somebody.
Bio.
Oh God.
I love the speaking of the Z4, that story that popped up today about the James Bond movie and how the product placement didn't work out, even though they were offering $5 million because they didn't think it was the best phone.
Well, that was what they were talking about, but I don't think they have like the final emails that say, "Oh, it's not going to happen," because there's like some kind of special Xperia phone that was in other emails that they said was going to be featured in, like the Xperia, not Ghost, but something like some kind of super special Xperia phone.
James Bond has a history of using mediocre Sony phones, so I mean, I don't know why they would suddenly be all like, this isn't good enough.
Well, the email said, oh, well, the director wants to use the best, and he doesn't think that the Xperia phones are the best. So I think it got awkward.
There was a creative factor in all caps. The creative factor is very important.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all of those caps were delivered by Amy Pascal.
So I also thought it was kind of interesting how, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, T-Mobile dropped the Z3 from its lineup, and there was speculation that they were dropping it in favor of the Z4, and then they announced the Z4, and then T-Mobile was like, okay, yeah, we'll keep selling the Z3, it's fine.
I bet that's a clearance thing.
I'm sure that's probably not really related to the announcement at all. It just the timing of it just seems interesting to me. All right, so let's move on to Sony's disappointing announcement of the next Galaxy Tab series, the Tab A. Well, David, I'll let you say it. You'll probably say it in way more colorful words than I.
You have no reason to buy these. Like, if you buy these, I want to talk to you about the decision that led you to putting your money into the hands of a retail corporation and then them giving you one of these tablets, because it's a metal Galaxy Tab 3 basically with a shittier screen. It's like, oh, why would you do this? And it's because Samsung knows they're going to sell a bunch of them to a bunch of people who shop at Walmart. Yeah, and that's it. I don't have anything to say about specifications because they're pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Because the people who buy them at Walmart probably won't say anything about the specifications either.
Did we name it? It's called the Galaxy Tab A. That's what you don't want to buy this year. So just make a note.
Why don't they call it the Galaxy Tab? Ooh.
Make a Galaxy note, not to buy the Tab A.
I get it.
Aha.
All right, I'm gonna have to go kill myself now.
All right, so the last little device announcement we had was the Xiaomi Mi4i.
Xiaomi the money.
Not much of it, apparently. Right.
Yeah. So it's priced at about $200. This is a phone for India, though, so you will not be able to buy it here. And I mean, it's a phone you might actually want to buy if you had the option, for that kind of money. It has an octa-core Snapdragon 615 processor, 2 gigs of RAM, a 5-inch 1080p screen, 3,120 milliamp-hour battery, LTE 13 megapixel camera. I mean, it's a good sort of kind of basic flagship phone, or maybe like a very good mid-range device. I mean, the 615 is not, a super fast chip, but it's still, it's perfectly serviceable. The device itself, it does have that very sort of generic Chinese smartphone feel, but it comes in a lot of weird colors. It has physical capacitive buttons and no app drawer because, that's just how Xiaomi rolls. yeah, they're taking reservations for it now, and it'll be out on I think the 20th, or not the 20th, like on the 28th maybe, I think they said. It's in here someplace. You can read the post if you want the actual number that I'm not making up.
The specifications are surprisingly similar to the Alcatel One Touch Idol 3 5.5, which is a mouthful that I have here. And I would say the 5-inch screen, the Alcatel is a 5.5, and still a 1080p display that actually looks good. But this is a pretty impressive price. The Alcatel is going to go for $249 retail, but they did some special pre-order for $199. But the Alcatel has LTE, and I do not think the Xiaomi one does.
It says,
but it still looks pretty good.
It says 4G dual SIM, so maybe they mean HSPA plus. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I might think. Not that there's huge LTE penetration in India to begin with, but or that even if it has LTE, that would have bands that are relatively common anywhere else on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want a Xiaomi phone, you're probably gonna have to wait a couple more years for them to get up the guts to start selling outside of Asia and Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
All right, so we have some device availability announcements to list off. First off, starting off with the Forge TV, Android TV device from Razer. It is officially available from Razer's website for pre-order. You can get the console itself for $99.99 or the bundle with the controller for $149.99. No announcement as of yet as to when the bundle will be available that comes with the keyboard and mouse combination. That was originally listed as $129.99, but then again, it's not available for pre-order, so that could always change.
David alluded to earlier the LG Watch Urbane and its upcoming availability. It will be available in the Google Store in 13 countries by the end of the month, and that means soon.
All right, and the LG G Flex 2 is coming to AT&T very soon, and it's going to be, actually, let's see, what is today? April 24th. It's coming today.
Yay!
So it's available now officially at AT&T for a little bit of a sizable chunk of money. $709 for an outright $300 on contract, or you can also get a 24-month payment plan for $29.55 or 20-month payment plan for $35.45. So if you are looking for a curved device that is suitable as a hand warmer in the wintertime, this is available now from AT&T.
You know what else is available now, Matt?
What's that?
The ZTE Spro 2. You know what a Spro 2 is?
No idea.
It is the next big thing in smart technology. It is a smart projector, and it runs the latest and greatest 4.4.4. It also has a 1280 by 800 resolution screen, but a whopping 6,300 milliamp hour battery, and it's available with a 2-year contract on AT&T for $400 or $500 without a contract.
I saw one of those. Yes, it almost burned my finger. It was so hot when it was running.
That is a lot of money.
It was hot.
The Spro.
Spro. All right, let's talk about some device updates. OTAs for Lollipop.
Wait a minute. Before you say that, David, when you burnt your hand, did the projector say, "Are you mad, Spro"?
It didn't.
You mad, Spro?
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, not disappointing in any way.
Did you ask it? You mad, Spro?
Maybe that's why it burnt your finger, because it was.
It was mad, Spro.
All right, so let's move on to device updates. Over-the-air updates rolling out to several Samsung devices, starting off with the Sprint Spark Galaxy S4 getting Lollipop over-the-air, as well as AT&T's Galaxy S4 Active, and the Samsung Galaxy Tab Galaxy Tab S, because you can't just call it a Galaxy Tab because there's like 20 different kinds. Galaxy Tab S 8.4 Wi-Fi edition also getting its update to Lollipop this week.
You know what would be funny? If the Shield tablet gets a 5.1 Lollipop update before the Nexus 9, that would be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Probably.
It would be great fun. You know what's getting a 5.1 over-the-air update? The Shield tablet. And you know what's not? The Nexus 9. The 5.1 OTA is coming soon, and Shield Portable will jump straight from 4.4 to 5.1. So everybody gets it except for us lucky Nexus 9 owners.
You had to take it there, didn't you, Bob?
Yeah. Yeah.
It had to go.
Yeah.
It had to be done.
I had to do it.
All right, let's move on to voicemails.
Voicemails?
Voicemails.
All right, we had a voicemail. I'll play it now.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Matt with his unending list of questions, and I have a question for you related to Google Voicemail. When I call a Google Voice number, is there any way to preview the message that I'm leaving and possibly delete it if, for example, I realize I just made an absolute fool of myself? I know most electronic voicemail systems out there do have this feature, and Google really loves Google Voice so much that it makes it modern. So maybe, hopefully, this actually exists, and I just haven't figured out the key combination to activate it. Your help is appreciated, and have a good day.
So, any ideas, fellers?
I don't think so.
That's one to check the FAQ on, because I've never heard of a way to do that I'm aware of.
I would recommend just writing a script ahead of time. Just in case.
I recommend actually recording your voicemail beforehand and then playing it over speakers.
Yes.
Was
that
he
would
being
be
sarcastic? Was he being sarcastic when he said Google loves Google Voice? Because it's really not.
Google does not. Google loves Google Voice. Like, I'm not gonna make the joke. Anyway, it doesn't really love Google Voice. Was the point I was going to make.
You can make the joke, and we can just edit it out of the final podcast.
It's not a good one.
Is one of the players in the joke going to be Helen Keller?
But they could be.
We're not going to continue the show until you tell the joke.
Yeah, now I'm curious.
It's been built up too much. We can't just move on to this.
So
anyone who's easily offended, disconnect.
Google Voicemail.
You can tell us when we're not broadcasting, and then Bob can edit it into the show later.
More work for Bob.
So we have another voicemail.
We do have another voicemail.
We do. Would you guys like to hear it?
Yay!
Hello, gentlemen. This is Matt again with another question for you related to Google Play this time. Is there any way to easily compare the permissions between apps in the Google Play Store? Or is it necessary to just go into each individual app and then scroll down or select the permissions and write it down and compare that way? It's an important way to select an app that works for you is one where the permissions work for you. So it'd be really nice if such a way existed, even if it was through some third-party website or some way to export the data. I don't know. Your thoughts are appreciated. And thank you very much, as always.
Yeah, I don't believe it. If there was a way to do this, we would have figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
I know this is probably not what you're looking for, but I would think that probably the easiest way to do it would be to bring up two listings side by side in the Play Store on your web browser on your computer and compare them that way.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, the permissions thing, it's on every URL. It's inside the page. It's an embedded element, I think. So theoretically, you could do a diff looking at that element and write like a script or something.
Yeah, somebody could create a tool that scrapes that data, but I don't know that anybody has.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to kind of brew your own kind of solution there, and doing it on an Android device, then that'd be like a whole different ball game, I think.
And I remember one time I read the permissions of an app.
I did that once. That's like the first time I think I've ever actually done it.
I know.
I mean, I know they're there. I just don't. I do never read them.
I can't remember the last time I read permissions. I can't. The last time I read permissions of an app was who knows.
But yeah, I think probably doing it on your computer and just tabbing back and forth between two browser tabs is probably the easiest way to go. Could be. I could be wrong, but I think that's. I think that's it.
Or write a script. If you can write a script, because
absolutely.
I'm sure it could be done.
I think it's a good idea. I'm not going to promise you I would use it because, well, I'm lazy generally when it comes to that. But it's a good idea.
The only one I ever read was Facebook's app permissions, and now I know that they actually have the right to my firstborn son, which I was happy about because the dude's eating like a lot of food now.
I feel you. I feel that. My 12-year-old is like that.
Yeah, Facebook actually just they copy and paste the permissions from the Old Testament.
Right. I also have to sacrifice to them 2 turtle doves and the kidney of a clean bullock.
Okay, well, contests are there's none on the site right now. We do have some contests coming up, possibly even on the podcast later next month. So make sure you check it out, androidpolice.com/contests, and viewing in, listening, or watching our podcast every week because I mean, do it. Obviously,
do it because it's fun and other people do it, and you should do whatever other people do.
That's right.
Because that's who you are, is a follower, not a leader. You love to follow.
Speaking of following, hey Bob, will you cue the outro?
Yep. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also call us at 530-HELLO-IP. That's 530-435-5627. Find us on Twitter at Android Police, Google+, and Facebook.
Yay!
Yay!
So while we were
Crappy Carrier Voltron is the episode title.
Crappy Carrier Voltron.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's good.
While we were doing the show, I suddenly realized that the newest Mario Kart DLC was out, and I had to turn my Wii on so I could start downloading it.
What?
All right, I gotta go. Bye.
Yeah. Well, you weren't supposed to be here, so
I wasn't.
later.
So get out an hour ago.
Get out! Bye.
Deuces.
Theresis.
All those weeks we have to try to get enough people for the podcast, and today's like, everybody's here.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't get to hear David's joke now.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, that's why he left so
got out
quickly.
so quick.
He was like, shit.
We can make one up.
Ah.
What was it regarding?
I don't remember.
Oh. Okay. I don't remember either.
The Book of Face.
The Book of Face, Chapter 1, Verse 2. And the Zuckerberg struck his rod against the stones, and water did run out. The water came forth.
And the water was good.
And the water came forth with great wateritude. And it splashed forth down the mountain.
And God liked the water.
And the the number of thy counting is 3. 3 shall the number of thy counting be.
And having counted to 3 and not proceeding on to 4.
Oh, that's good. You know the actual lines. I was just faking. That's
So
And
we
5
can
is
have
right out.
HipChat updated their policy on emoticons so they can be really high res now. So I'm going to send an 11,000 pixel image of pizza and see if that works.
yay.
That's gonna
But
that's
can you
gonna
draw
make
your
our
own emoticons?
that's gonna make our distracting banter so much better.
Yay. So the first question
Enormous pizza.
we talked about the
Right.
first topic for 11 minutes and the rest of the show took 40.
I mean, we're just,
That was
one
pretty
of
good.
the
To be
tangents.
fair, I tend to try to put topics at the top that I think we're going to talk about.
So wait, what happened to the Shield story? Did we skip it?
What Shield story?
No.
The one that we
No, the one about the 5.
Holy crap, we did!
Okay, because I was waiting, and then I realized that I was like,
Did we-
okay, did we just
Do it
miss-
now. Do it now. I'll put it in there. Matt, set it up.
Alright, so...
We've never done this before. Why not
I don't
start
know.
now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not?
Let's give it a go.
Alright. All right, so Nvidia made a quiet little bump to the specs on the Shield console that's available on their website, adding an option that previously wasn't there before at a pretty interesting value, right, Cam?
So yeah, a 500 gigabyte.
A 5010 gigabyte option.
A 5010 gigabyte option for Shield console or Shield TV or Shield or whatever you want to call it showed up for $299.99. That's pretty interesting because the only other option is a 16 gigabyte option. So we had originally speculated whether it would be just a traditional hard disk drive or whether it would be a hybrid drive with maybe 16 or 32 gigabytes of solid state storage and the rest as a traditional hard disk drive, or if it would even be an external drive in the box. So that was what we speculated. So Nvidia comes back and says, this was their official statement, I'm just going to read it verbatim. A Shield Partner Developer Kit was erroneously listed on our website today as a product. For clarification, Nvidia has not launched a 500 gigabyte SKU for Shield. The website is being updated with our announced Shield product available soon at $199.99. So basically what they're saying was this was accidentally added to the website and it was for hardware partners only. I don't know how I feel about that.
Do we not believe them?
I don't know. I find it strange that they would accidentally add a developer kit basically to the website. I don't know. A 500 gigabyte Shield model would be completely sick. That would be awesome.
Like somebody went through the trouble of like adding in the graphics for that and like putting up all of the images and like the buttons and everything. Like it wasn't just like one dude like said, oh hey, let's put up this 500 gig SKU real quick. Like a couple of people had to at least been involved.
And then like 8 hours
later. None of them realized like, oh hey, we're not actually selling this because that would be crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a pretty good response. People were like, "Hey, this is awesome." I mean, $300, it's a little steep because somebody pointed out it's like $50 below an Xbox One and $100 below a PS4. But still, I mean, I don't want to say it does more because it doesn't necessarily do more. It just does different. Yeah. Anyway, 500 gigabytes versus 16, even if it's a traditional spindle drive, I think that's probably pretty much going to be.
That's what it would have to be. I mean, because.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way
from 16 gigs to 500, like a 500 or 512 meg flash storage system. I mean, like a drive like that by itself. I think
that's
like
a few $100 still. Yeah, it's like a couple $100 at this point. So I mean, I guess theoretically they could get a really good deal on them, but they wouldn't make any money off of the extra, and that's not how any of this works. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and I actually would like to see it become an option for consumers because I mean, hell, if I was going to buy one, I think I would definitely go for the 500 gigabyte, even though it's even if it's not solid state. I would just, the extra storage, you could install so many different, just like every game that's available for Shield devices. So, yeah.
You know what? I still thought that was real, and I'm just sad. I wish we hadn't gone back and covered that story because I still thought it was real until just now.
So now Matt was like, he was going to end the evening on a high note, and now he's all bummed out because he can't get his imaginary 500 gigabyte Shield.
I thought you meant that you thought that was real, as in like that was part of the real podcast. Like we were still in the main show.
See, the problem was the guy that works with Nvidia on the Shield team, he got Earth Day and April Fool's Day mixed up. That's the problem.
Earth Fool's Day.
Earth Fools Day. You're all Earth Fools.
Okay. I want to go
play some Venus.
Yeah, are we? Yeah, we're done with the.
We're done with the show.
Secondary show. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go too. Goodbye.
Yeah,
right,
I'm out.
I'm gonna go too. Bye, people in broadcasty land.
I'm gonna stay too.
You can't stay because I'm gonna stop.
But if you don't stop it, then
I'm going
to stop it.
I'll stay either way.
And stay at the same time.
Okay, let's go and stay at the same time.
Let's go and stay at the same time. Bye, Lil Spradlin.
Lil Spradlin.